The sterile white walls of Chronotech Industries headquarters hummed with a low, pervasive thrum that grated on Dr. Alistair Finch's nerves. Just hours ago he's been surrounded by the comforting scent of brass, oil, and aged wood in his basement workshop. Now he was a prisoner in a monument to his stolen legacy. Remarkable, isn't it? The voice said, laced with a sickly sweet enthusiasm. Finch didn't turn. He knew who it was. Silas Thorne, the CEO of Chronotech Industries, a man whose face was as polished and artificial as the chrome fixtures surrounding them. Remarkable theft, you mean, Finch corrected, his voice a frail rasp. Beatrice, standing rigidly by his side, subtly tightened her grip on his arm. Thorne chuckled, a sound like dry leaves rustling. "A misunderstanding, Doctor. We merely refined your work, brought it to its full potential." He gestured expansively at the cityscape visible through the panoramic window, a dizzying vista of towering structures and automated transport systems. "Imagine, Doctor, the possibilities. Correcting historical errors, experiencing lost civilizations, even shaping the future itself. You pervert the very notion of science," Finch retorted, ignoring the tremor in his hands. "Time is a river, not a playground for the whims of ambition." "Sentiment, Doctor, a relic of a bygone era," Thorne dismissed. "We're offering humanity a gift, a chance to transcend its limitations." Beatrice spoke, her voice carefully neutral. "The power you wield is dangerous, Mr. Thorne. Unpredictable." "We have safeguards," Thorne assured her, though his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. "Sophisticated algorithms to prevent paradoxes. Fail-safes, if you will." Finch saw through the veneer. He's seen what refinement did to his research. He's watched as his painstakingly crafted equations were twisted into tools for manipulation, his careful calibrations replaced with reckless shortcuts. The chronarium designed to observe had become a key to unlock, a key to rewrite. "I want to see the linguistic note," Finch demanded, abruptly changing the subject. It was a dangerous gambit, but he needed to see it again, to focus on something tangible, something that felt like a clue rather than a threat. Thorne hesitated, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. "It's archived. For security reasons. I'm the originator of the technology. I have every right to examine it," Finch insisted, his voice gaining a surprising strength. Thorne waved his hand dismissively. "Very well, bring it to him." Within minutes a young technician appeared, carrying a sealed data slate. Finch took it with trembling hands and activated it. The ancient script swam into view, the same bizarre symbols he's only seen a handful of times during his original research. He recognized the key. It wasn't a language, not in the traditional sense. It was a code, a complex system of astronomical alignments and geometric proportions, disguised as pictograms. "What is it?" Beatrice asked, peering over his shoulder. Finch frowned. "A warning, I suspect. A warning of something beyond our understanding." He read a specialized program he's prepared in case such a situation occurred, the symbols shifting on the screen, translating into a fragmented, ominous phrase, *Custodes Temporis vigilantia fractura * Guardians of Time vigilance fracture. "Guardians?" Beatrice questioned. "What does that mean?" Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered violently. The humming grew louder, morphing into a discordant whine. Alarms blared throughout the facility. "What's happening?" Thorne demanded, his composure finally cracking. On the main display screen, the cityscape outside began to shimmer and distort. For a fleeting moment, Finch saw a brief glimpse of his own basement workshop, the familiar clatter of gears and levers, the comforting glow of gas lamps. Then, just as quickly, it vanished, replaced by a chaotic swirl of colors and impossible geometries. "Temporal disturbance," a panicked voice shouted from the control room. "Multiple anomalies detected." Finch felt a familiar sensation, the nauseating disorientation of temporal displacement. The room began to dissolve around him, the faces of Thorne and the technicians blurring into indistinct shapes. "We're losing containment," Thorne screamed. Then everything went black. When Finch regained consciousness, he was lying on a cold, damp floor. The metallic taint of blood filled his nostrils. He slowly pushed himself up, his limbs heavy and aching. The familiar scent of oil and aged wood reached him. He looked around. He was in his basement workshop. "Doctor, you're awake." Beatrice rushed to his side, her face etched with concern. What happened?" Finch asked, his voice hoarse. "We were transported," Beatrice explained. "I don't know how or why. One moment we were at Chronotech, the next we were here." Finch looked around the workshop, his eyes scanning the familiar objects. It was as if nothing had changed. The chronarium stood silent in the corner, its brass casing gleaming in the lamplight. "A hell," Finch murmured. The memory of the temporal shift, the chaos of Chronotech, felt like a dream. Yet the lingering disorientation, the ache in his bones, told a different story. He noticed something different. On the workbench, among his notes and blueprints, lay a single object, a small, intricately carved stone obsidian black, etched with the same cryptic symbols he'd seen on the linguistic note. It hadn't been there before. As he reached for it, a voice echoed through the workshop, soft and chilling, yet undeniably present. Custodes Temporis *. Finch froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He slowly turned toward the darkness, at the far end of the workshop. He knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the very core, that he wasn't alone, and that the guardians of time weren't merely observing. They were coming.